Did you know that Tom Cruise once shut someone down so hard without even uttering a single word from his mouth? These are the top 10 times when he silenced even the most provocative interviewers. Before we begin, do subscribe to our channel if you love Hollywood drama. The Matt Lauer Showdown, 2005. In 2005, on The Matt Lauer Show, the setting was standard. It was a morning show interview, and even the topic was harmless at first. But suddenly, Matt brought up a controversial topic he shouldn't have. It was about medication, mental health, and another actress involved in the conversation that Tom Cruise didn't really like. It was so clear that Matt wanted a reaction out of Tom for clicks and views. But Tom, being the James Bond that he is, didn't react angrily. Instead, he shifted from acting on his feelings to a laser-sharp focus and a debater that Matt never expected. From there, Tom responded with facts, confidence, and severe intensity. Since the conversation was about Brooke Shields and, on a broader topic, psychiatry, Tom had very strong views about it. But Matt kept pushing to unlock a rage mode that Tom Cruise never had. From there, Tom corrected Matt's assumption, challenged the inaccuracies of modern-day psychiatry, and explained how antidepressants don't really cure anything, but they act as a band-aid. Every time Matt tried to soften the situation or pivot from the topic, Tom held the conversation in place. He gave the interviewer the exact medicine. The thing he was most afraid of was accountability. In the best part of the conversation, Tom didn't even raise his voice. Not even 1 ounce. The silence between statements was what ruined Matt's reputation on live TV. Peter Overton. And then comes the highly controversial interview Peter Overton did with Tom Cruise. This Australian interviewer thought that he could poke at Tom's personal life for clicks and views. However, that was his biggest mistake. At first, it started harmlessly. He talked about marriage, children, career, and the usual press tour stuff. But then he started bringing up his ex-wife, Nicole Kidman, implying that she was still the love of Tom's life. A regular celebrity would snap at a question so controversial. But for Tom, he didn't get defensive. He simply leaned forward and delivered a line that froze the entire studio. Tom said, "You're stepping over a line now, and you know you are." This was one of the most bone-chilling lines for Peter, as it seemed to have unplugged his brain mid-sentence. From there, Peter told Tom with a sly face that people wanted to know these answers, but Tom looked at him straight in the eyes with the razor-sharp focus and told him, "No, only you want to know. We didn't see any shouting, any abuse, or any emotional tantrums. Just a boundary that was drawn." And it was so clear that the interview had to move on from the question. He was completely destroyed. Trump tariff question.
Is this particular movie under that tariff? And also, how much of the film was shot overseas? I think that's a fair answer. All right.
So far, we have only touched the tip of the iceberg because the next one was not only personal, but also political. During a press junket, an Asian reporter asked Tom about the overseas film location, Trump-era tariffs, global politics, and even filmmaking economics. This was disguised to provoke Tom's curiosity, and even though it was messy, it was still pointed. In that interview, it clearly wasn't the best time to ask Tom this question. Tom instantly knew that the question was getting political, so he would ultimately either lose his fan base or become a controversial figure in the world of politics. He just looked at the interview, blinked once, didn't answer, didn't explain anything, and didn't even sigh. Rather, he let the team move on to the next question. While it was as simple as muting the interviewer's dignity, this type of classical Hollywood disrespect is something that people hate. And that interviewer didn't like it either. Dr. Jekyll fight scene question. The Mummy is perhaps one of the most popular movies we have ever seen, and it's largely due to Tom Cruise. One day, Tom and Russell Crowe were doing an interview for the movie, where things got weird. At first, the conversation was all fun and games. But behind-the-scenes stories, stunts, fight scenes, and the usual Tom Cruise type of questions. But then someone asked Dom if he thinks Russell Crowe would actually beat him in a real fight or not. As a man, Tom did have an ego, and I'm sure Russell also already made scenarios in his mind. But for the interview, he wanted drama from that conversation. Tom's face went from a polite smile to, "Why would you ask a question like that?" He didn't even attack the reporter. He didn't use any jokes to sort of weasel out of the question. Rather, he answered that he doesn't talk about thinking about whether he could fight all the co-stars or not. All of this was said calmly, but with the kind of seriousness that made the whole room go silent. This is just one of those moments where the reporter got emotionally destroyed, without a doubt. Red carpet water prank. The red carpet water prank moment is legendary, but not exactly for the opposite reasons that the prankster expected. Here is what happened. There was a man who was pretending to be a reporter, and one day, he walked up to Tom during a red carpet event. But instead of asking a question, he squirted water directly into his face. Imagine he did that to someone like Brock Lesnar. He would have his face crushed. However, Tom did nothing. He only grabbed the guy's hand gently, pulled him in, and asked him why he would do that. The interviewer kept running away from Tom, but Tom just restated everything that had happened during the interview. He told the interviewer that he was there to give him an honest opinion about whatever the interviewer asked, but he was pranked with water on his face, which was not very nice. He wasn't angry or shaken. He was deeply disappointed, like a dad who just saw his kid break all of his toys. To the reporter, Tom kept asking, telling him it was incredibly rude. The prankster, although he was there to get some views or clicks, had no answers because there were none. Tom didn't embarrass him. He overpowered him in his own game. Average person mask question. This one journalist tried to be smart, but his quirkiness failed instantly. The interviewer asked Tom what he would do if he could wear a mask and become an average person for a day. On the surface, this question looks normal. But if we translate it, it basically means that Tom is not normal, and he doesn't have any idea about what an average person goes through in their daily lives. While most celebrities or people would fall under this question or even get angry, Tom didn't get annoyed. Rather, he flipped the script immediately. He said he would do the same as he already does. He would watch movies, make movies, and even travel around the world. The sincerity of this answer was that Tom's response felt real, and it was actually what he meant. The generalist tried to frame Tom as disconnected from reality, or someone who doesn't know the daily struggle of a person. But for Tom, he was actually one of the most grounded in reality people that the interviewer could ask that question from. Jimmy Kimmel interview. Did you know there was a time when Jimmy Kimmel, America's most popular TV interviewer at one point, tried to paint Tom as someone who could not have a normal life? He asked Tom whether he could even take public transportation, get into a train, or even go to a museum. Jimmy thought he had Tom cornered with this basic celebrity problem angle, but little did he know that Tom would blow his mind. He told Jimmy Kimmel that he was on the London Tube with a hat and headphones, and how a teenage girl recognized him even though everyone else was basically using their phone. But lucky for him, she didn't overreact, and nothing really happened. So, this proved that Tom can really move like a normal person. This may not be in the United States of America. When Jimmy tried to knock him down, Tom stood up and destroyed Jimmy with his single story. The Collateral interview. Can you imagine an interviewer telling Tom Cruise that this movie should have been played by Al Pacino or De Niro? This happened during the Collateral press tour, and while most other celebrities would take that as an offense, Tom stayed cool. He showed us the calm and composure of a monk, which showed him in a state of zen. Instead of taking that as an offense, he simply leaned in and explained how he likes to choose roles. He even said he loves challenges, and the uncertainty of each role is quite thrilling to him. By this statement, Tom didn't have to prove himself, or even say anything, because he didn't defend himself or justify. He just made it clear that he wasn't afraid to take any risks, even if the role is beyond what most people would expect him to take on. Moreover, when the same interviewer tried to deflect by blaming this on other people for this comment, Tom shut that down too. He told the interviewer to put his manners back in, meaning that he should own what he says and take on the accountability. Or if he doesn't want to take accountability, he should just shut up. The best part about this interview was when the interviewer apologized instantly, because that's the only thing he could do. There have been many moments where Tom Cruise was left or pushed to act on emotions. This is normal, because most interviewers ask provocative questions so that their show's rankings can get high. Other celebrities, like Eminem or some kind of fighter, when they are asked this provocative question, get angry a lot. Their reaction would then fuel the views of these interview shows, but for Tom Cruise, it's something that he doesn't want or doesn't want to be known for. In the end, he always keeps his composure. And even if the question is the most absurd, he would always answer it with a level of certainty and logic that would make the interviewer feel like they are being stared at in their soul by him. With that, our list ends. Tom Cruise doesn't silence interviewers with anger or lashing out like he is some kind of UFC fighter. Rather, he does it with control, clarity, and logic. That is how he has always been. Comment down which moment was your favorite, and subscribe to our channel if you love to see Hollywood drama videos like these.